Revolt of 1857. The Great Rebellion of 1857 is termed as the First War of Independence. It was a culmination of resentment among the people of India, which had been brewing up for a long time against the policies of the British in India. It occurred as the result of several factors over decades. Causes of revolt. Political reasons. The expansionist policies of the British. The Indian rulers of the annexed states were forced to disband their army. In 1856, the British declared that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal king. His descendants would not be recognized as kings. This made the Muslims rise in revolt. Policy of doctrine of lapse, introduced by Lord Dalhousie, caused great resentment among the rulers of India, who felt insecure. Since most of the soldiers in Bengal army were from Awadh, the annexation of Awadh hurt the soldiers. Economic causes. The British exploited the wealth and economic resources of India to serve the interest of British trade and industry. They converted India into a purely agricultural country and used India as a source of raw material for its industries. They carried away India's wealth to Britain. The machine-made goods, made in Britain, flooded India. Trade and industry in India began to decline, rendering a large number of artisans jobless. Indians were denied all high civil and military positions, which were reserved for the British only. This caused frustration among educated Indians. Social and religious causes. The British viewed Indians as racially inferior and culturally backward.
The social and religious reform laws passed by the British, such as ban on sati, legalization of widow remarriage, introduction of Western education, etc., were considered as an interference with the customs and religious practices of Indians.
The Christian missionaries began to convert many Hindus and Muslims to Christianity. In 1850, a new law was passed to make conversion to Christianity easier. This law allowed an Indian who had converted to Christianity to inherit the property of his ancestors. The salary paid to the Indian sepoys was much lower than the British soldiers. This caused unrest among the sepoys in the British army. There was professional discontentment among the sepoys. Higher positions in the army were reserved for the British. A new law was passed that required new recruits to travel overseas if required. Sepoys were not paid an extra allowance or batta for fighting in far-off places. immediate causes. The rebellion actually started over a gun. Sepoys in the British Army were issued a new Enfield rifle. For loading the rifle, sepoys had to bite the cartridge to release the gunpowder. It was believed that the cartridges were greased with lard, pork fat, and tallow, cow fat. It hurt the religious sentiments of both the Hindu and Muslim soldiers and sparked the most dangerous uprising against British. Spread of revolt. Sepoys exchanged news and rumors about the revolt in the bazaars of North India. The first soldier to protect against the use of new rifle was Mangal Pandey, a Brahmin sepoy in Barakpur. On 29th March 1857, he refused to use the greased cartridges and killed 2 English officers. He asked other sepoys to join him to end the British rule. He was arrested and hanged. His execution led to the mutiny of sepoys. On 10th May, the soldiers marched to the jail in Meerut and released the imprisoned sepoys. They attacked and killed British officers. They marched to Delhi and proclaimed the old Mughal emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar as the Emperor of India. Gradually, the revolt started at several other places in India. Centers of revolt. Delhi. The rebels marched to Red Fort in Delhi and captured Delhi on 10th May 1857. Bahadur Shah was declared the Emperor of India. The rebels killed hundreds of British officers. The revolt in Delhi was led by General Bakht Khan, and it soon spread to the other centers like Kanpur, Lucknow, Jhansi, and Bareilly. Kanpur. In Kanpur, revolt was led by Nana Sahib, who declared himself the Peshwa and governor of Bahadur Shah. His troops were led by Tantia Tope and Azim Mullah. Lucknow. The revolt in Lucknow was led by Hazrat Mahal, the Begum of deposed Nawab Wajid Ali Shah of Awadh. Sage of Residency building in Lucknow, which provided shelter to British forces, men, women, and children. Jhansi. Rani Lakshmibai assumed the leadership of the mutiny and fought the British along with Tantia Tope. Bareilly. Khan Bahadur Khan was the leader of the revolt in Bareilly and proclaimed himself as the Nawab. Arrah and other places in Bihar. The revolt was led by Kunwar Singh. The indigo factories, which were the symbol of British repression, were destroyed by the rebels. Kunwar Singh died of war injuries. The other places of revolt were Banaras, Allahabad, Gwalior, Nasirabad, Indore, Aligarh, and Kota, where the sepoys killed the senior officers, plundered the treasury, and released the prisoners from jails. Suppression of revolt. The company decided to repress the revolt with all its might. Reinforcements were brought from England. British forces regained Delhi as Bahadur Shah Zafar was a weak leader. The people, however, continued to resist, and the British had to fight for 2 years to suppress the forces of popular rebellion in Delhi. Reasons for failure of 1857 revolt. The 1857 revolt failed because of the following reasons. The revolt was not widespread. Lack of leadership and organizational skills. No common plan of action. All sections of society did not support the revolt. The emerging middle class did not support the rebels. Some Indians even supported the suppression of the revolt.
Lack of modern weapons and technology.
The revolt started before the fixed date. The British Army was more disciplined. Lack of resources. Results of the revolt. After 1857, the rule of East India Company ended. India was ruled directly by the British government. A member of the British cabinet was appointed Secretary of State for India and was made responsible for all matters related to the governance of India. The Governor-General of India was given the title of Viceroy. The princely rulers were assured that their territory would never be annexed in future. However, they were made to acknowledge the British Queen as their sovereign paramount. Army was reorganized and proportion of Indian soldiers in the army was reduced. The British followed the policy of divide and rule.